to after now. Okay, so we're looking at a very important subject matter, and just a bit of an introduction. My name is Raymond Ijeomah, and I'm the managing director, founder of Fortreal Limited, a real estate company right here in Abuja. And um, I'm going to have to share something important with us just for a moment. And the subject matter is exploring and capitalizing on opportunities in the real estate market and minimizing potential pitfalls. So, just so that I get a bit of an understanding of the people I'm having a conversation with, are we largely interested in investing, or are business owners who are largely, or people who are interested in, say, selling real estate, or those who are interested in maximizing opportunities in the real estate sector? Maybe just one or two persons. Just let me hear your thoughts in that regard.
For me, I'm ready to maximize making money in real estate, because I even have, somebody even gave me acres of land to sell, but I don't know how to do it. That's why I've not put my hands on it. So I'm ready to learn. Somebody has given me like acres of land to sell for him in Ogun State, but I don't know how to go about it. And the man has not given it to anybody. So I'm ready to learn tonight.
All right, I think that's a good response for me. I think I can work with that. So yes, let me just go right into the conversation, so that I'll be able to create a bit of room for us to ask questions. All right, investing in real estate and maximizing. Yeah, all right, that works. So there are three major ways that you can, or people can play in the real estate sector. Three major ways. The first one of them is developing, to become a developer, right? In other words, you acquire expanse of land and then you develop it, get people to buy it, and that's it. That's one angle. The second angle is selling it. And in other words, you have somebody, for example, you just said somebody gave you land to sell. And with that land, you can literally just, you, I like to say that you basically don't need capital to start real estate, particularly the selling part, because that's the lowest entry point to doing this real estate thing. Is the lowest entry point as far as the real estate business is concerned. That's the part of selling, which is the second part. The last part is investing. Investing, depending on how you want to start with your investment, investing will cost a lot of money. Investing usually money. On that investing, the lowest entry point is land banking, right? Land banking is the lowest entry point on that real estate. But then, depending on the location where you want to do land banking, for example, right now in Abuja, the least product on our listing is a product of 7.5 million. And we're calling that land banking because it's Abuja. And of course, we have certain locations in mind as it relates to Abuja, right? There's some other places that you can maybe start with 500,000 naira investment, in terms of land banking, right? So it all depends. But either ways, certainly six figures would definitely go into any type of investment you want to do in real estate. So three major ways you can play in the real estate sector: either as an investor, either as a developer, or somebody who is a broker or an agent or a real estate, or realtor, depending on whatever you want to call yourself. So these are the three major ways you can play in the real estate. And like I said, the lowest entry point for you is selling. How did I start mine? Um, so back then I was in Benin, and I was still doing my 9 to 5 job, or 8 to 5, the case may be. And I was, it was, my salary at the time was 40,000 naira. I started at 30 and then moved to 40,000 naira. And at the time I was taking this job, I knew that I was only going to be that employee for, or be an employee there for 2 years. I was very sure about that. And then, whatever reasons, a lot of things happened in the year that I was supposed to resign. And that was in the year of 2020. COVID happened. And at the time where a lot of uncertainties were the realities of the whole world, right? I knew that no matter what was, no matter the level of uncertainty we had in the world at the time, I knew that I was done and I was going to resign. Let me say, coincidentally, I lost about ₦1 million, all the money I was saving to start the. So my plan was okay. So I'm going to resign. Start. Actually, I wasn't really sure, but for whatever reason, I started doing this real estate thing, got into a circle, and long story cut short, I decided that it was going to be real estate. And in fact, starting the company, I couldn't complete the entire payment for registering the company. And the money I had a plan B because I already knew that selling real estate, you don't just start selling it. You need to be able to break certain codes before you can sell it. So I had a plan B because I was not expecting any monthly salary from anybody. And my plan B was to start driving Taxify. That was my plan B. And so I was saving all the while in preparation for my resignation, which eventually happened 29th of December 2022. But prior to that time, the money I was using to save, the money I was saving so that I'll be able to buy a car in January, crashed with one of these popular um, structured Ponzi schemes. For me, I just so that I add a bit of investment to this conversation. To me, at the time, I felt that I was being an investor. Um, for fast forward to a few months, years thereafter, I discovered that that was actually a Ponzi scheme I was putting my money into. I haven't gone further to understand how finance and investment actually truly work. Right. So I lost that money. In fact, I lost two. One was Pennywise, the other one was MBA Forest. So I lost all of those money, and it was as though I was in at the lowest of my lowest in terms of money. But I was 100% sure that I needed to leave. And just to add, again, my very good boss at the time couldn't pay me 3 months salary back to back, October, November, December. So all of this, I'm trying to say that I literally was at the lowest point, but that was the point I started real estate. And uh, the first my attempt was to sell. And of course, like I said, I like to always say that people you don't sell real estate as though you're selling a pen. And that's what a lot of realtors do. And that's where the mistake comes. Real estate is a high ticket product. So you don't just wake up and boom, you started selling it. Particularly if you are from a very humble background. And I believe we all understand what I mean by saying humble background. In other words, you don't have any auntie or uncle who is feeding properly, like as you know, within the context of feeding very well. And not to talk of having more than enough to buy land of 5 million naira. Any kind of family you're coming from, you just have to.
I think it's the network.
Okay, so I'm not the only one, right? I thought I was the only one, so I was trying to wait a bit. Hello, Mr. Raymond. We no longer can hear you. Let me drop in the chat. Um, please, if you're also experiencing this, please just give a thumbs up so I can know that at least it's from his own end more. Okay, okay, okay. I believe he will join us any moment from now. Okay, okay. Thank you. Sorry, please, let's be patient. I'm already reaching out to him. Hello, sir. Connect. Oh, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you. Okay. Yes, you've been locked out. Okay, it's back.
Can I be heard now?
Yes, yes, sir. If you can hear him, please give thumbs up.
All right, great. What was the last thing I said? I think I may have talked too far. What was the last thing you heard?
Hello, sir.
What was the last thing you heard?
Okay, you are making a reference on how that you got into your boss was not paying you, was able to pay you 3 months back to back, was not able to pay you rather 3 months back to back. When you after yes, that's why I stopped hearing you. I don't know others.
I know you stepped out for a moment. Who heard me beyond that point? Because that's almost 2 to 5 minutes of my speaking time. Who heard me beyond that point?
You also said I heard that you started at your lowest point. As in, when you were starting, there was nothing to hold on. And you also talked about if you want to start a real estate without a big auntie, a big uncle, and all that, that is not. It's very
It
hard.
was a
Especially if you come
realization.
from that kind of
Okay,
background.
all right. Thank you. I appreciate the feedback. Now, uh, so I talked about my boss not being able to pay me for 3 months, and that was because of coding and COVID and a lot of other financial issues. I mean, COVID generally. And then I had moved on to the point where I said I was at the lowest point, but eventually I dropped the pen and I needed to do this because I was sure that I needed to step out and move forward. Because I mean, I knew that 40K salary a month will not make me. There's no way I could feed my wife. I was also planning to get married. Come on, guys. So I needed to move on. And moving forward from there, 4 months down the line, that was when I got my first client. And in between, it felt like I almost went back to the job or look for another job. But in 4 days, right? In 4 days, I got a job eventually after 4 months. And in 4 days, I made the money that I went home with as my fee was 400 and something thousand naira. That was my first client. And I was asking us a question. Can someone quickly help me with that? 400,000 divided by, no, 40,000 divided by 30 days. because from where I was coming from, it was 40,000 a month, and in 4 days, I got 400,000 plus as my take home. So can someone help me? 40,000 divided by 30 days. That was how much a day?
Like
Unmute your microphone. I'm not sure I can hear you.
1,000
1,330
So that's
naira.
1,000. How much?
plus something.
333
1,000.
naira.
So let's make it 1,500 naira a day. That's daily bricklayer daily money, right? And it felt like I cheated. It felt like I cheated these people because from where I'm coming from, as a professional, a lawyer, come on, guys, this was me earning 40,000. So that day it dawned on me that Jesus Christ, this is where I belong. But then, before I decided consciously that this was where I belong, my subconscious mind was telling me that, come on, guys, this is not the usual. The usual is supposed to be 40,000 naira for 30 days. And I had to deal with that mental pattern because, come on, I needed to get out of that. And I felt like, yes, this is where I belong, right? Because I'm a mental person naturally. So I like to use my mind to get the job done and get good pay for it. So with that, I just felt like, man, this is where I needed to be. And fast forward to this point, we're a very fast growing real estate company here in the city of Abuja, doing multi-million transactions every month. Now, I haven't gotten to this point. For those of you who are interested in understanding or exploring the opportunities in the real estate sector, to be frank with you, I can put a bet on this. If you know any wealthy man, if you know any wealthy man, if you know any wealthy man, directly or indirectly, right, that is very wealthy, but is not directly or indirectly doing real estate, can you let me know? I can place a bet on this. I've done this severally, and I've not spoken at one conference or spoken at one meeting that I could find one man or I could find one person, show me one man that didn't make his money or that is not heavily invested in real estate. Real estate is the business for anybody that desires to be wealthy. You can't say you want to be wealthy and not want to do real estate or be involved in real estate somehow, directly or indirectly. I usually would say that if you want to graduate or you want to have a BSc, you definitely would have to, all things being equal, pass through the route of writing your, permit me to call it JAMB, WAEC, and all of that normal route that we know. Go to the university, right? That's the normal, natural route of having a BSc within the Nigerian educational system, right? And it is irrational for you to say you want to have BSc and decide that you don't want to do any of this. Is that possible? Maybe somebody can have an exception to that. Is it possible for you to have BSc and not go through that route? So
No.
for me, that is exactly what real estate is. If you say you want to be wealthy, then all you are saying is that you definitely must be a part of real estate, either as an investor, as a developer, or as a broker. And the ultimate game of all of this is that at the end of the day, the best of people who do this are people who do the three of them. And you realize that if some person starts from brokering or selling to developing, or from investing to selling, from selling to investing, somehow they're all intertwined. I've met a lot of developers, and usually the route is selling, investing, and developing. And if you, of course, you have to start from somewhere because you can't do the three at the same time. Maybe you can do investing and selling, or you can do investing and developing, but you definitely have to take it one step at a time. And in terms of opportunities, trust me, guys, there are a lot of opportunities in this real estate sector. I like to always say that real estate is not a get rich quick scheme, but a get rich for sure. If you want to be wealthy, if you want to make money in the real estate sector, you don't have an option but or if you want to make money generally, you want to be wealthy generally, you don't have an option but to go through the route of investing in real estate. The only problem that people make, or the only issue that most persons have, is that they want to do it in a hurry. Some persons, so I did a bit of that because when you're growing up normally, you would, based on the kind of books you're reading, you try to want to get smart with money, make more money, and all of that. And with that subconscious or that consciousness of, I mean, the one of the investments I was using my money that's one of the investments I was putting in my money that crashed was one that was giving me 15% per annum. I mean, 15% in a month, right? And so usually I could come with that kind of Ponzi mindset and would want to do real estate and make money overnight and sweep it or flip it as quick as possible and then double the money. So real estate may not double the money for you, but if you want to get rich for sure, and I like to always add, be sustainably wealthy, then real estate is the business to get into. And everybody can do real estate. Everybody can do real estate. You are a salary earner anywhere, you can do real estate. Whatever you are doing, real estate is, although ultimately I like to say that because for me, I actually started at that level where even though I was still doing my 8 to 5 or 8 to 4, I was still doing it on the side, right? And doing it on the side, I saw the potential before I resigned fully to come in, right? So even though you are an employee, even though you are doing anything you are doing, you are an oil worker, whatever you are, you can make connections with the right brokerage firms or partner with certain real estate companies and make recommendations to your colleagues, right? The real estate is a game of trust. For someone who wants to sell real estate, it's largely a game of trust. And of course, there's a lot of knowledge that you have to develop yourself as it relates to the business. Because as I said in the beginning, real estate is not a pen. People who buy real estate or people who truly invest in real estate don't buy real estate as though they're buying pens. In other words, what I mean by that statement is when you want to buy a pen, you don't care about the identity of who is selling it. True or true? You don't care. You don't care what the person. Your focus is just the pen and you're out. You don't want to know his name. You don't care where it's from. You don't care. But for real estate, if you want to do real estate, people who buy real estate, people who invest in real estate, will scrutinize everything about you. They want to know where you're from. They want to see branding. They want to see all of that, right? So all of that is just to be able to establish trust. The moment you can find a way to establish trust, irrespective of what you are doing, and make the right recommendations as relates to real estate, then at that point you definitely can make money from real estate. But ultimately, I always advise that because of the kind of demand that real estate makes from you, if you want to make the real money from real estate, you definitely may emphasize on the word may have to come in fully. If you give real estate part-time, it gives you part-time result. If you give real estate full-time effort, it gives you full-time result. In other words, you have potentials to. So I don't know. I asked this question. I was doing a training yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day for yesterday? And I asked this question in the Nigerian economy right now. How many people earn on the average of £1 million every month? Which business? What sector? What sector? Okay, yeah, tech guys. Someone mentioned that as well. What sector are you guaranteed that you can say get £1 million home every month?
Maybe real estate.
No. We're talking about real estate, so real estate is an exception in this conversation. Any other sector?
Only tech guys, though, to be candid.
Somebody else has
the oil sector is
Yeah, the oil, yes.
Oil sector, not all of them. I know oil sectors that are still earning 70,000 after today.
Depend on the level at which the person is now.
Right. So definitely it's all about your rank in that sector. Your rank is, and then for most of those sectors, I don't think so. Okay, let's beyond. So in terms of ranking, now we're talking about any sector where you can move from 0 to earning, say, £1 million every month in 3 years. Any sector like that, apart from tech again.
From 0 to where?
From 0 to £1 million most every month in 3 years.
Is real estate.
No. Let's leave real estate. We should leave this my real estate. People should leave this my real estate. Any other
some NGOs do earn up to. I know some people that are in NGOs that earn up to £1 million.
Hello, let me come in. Consumables. If you are into consumables, like I'm into. Hello, is someone hearing me?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Yeah, I'm into office automations. You understand? So, and I deal with institutions. You understand? So either they like it or not, they will write exams. Either they like it or not, they will do a lot of printings, a lot of jobs, and all those things. So consumables in area of or equipment. You understand? So if you are able to stand very well, you understand? Able to stand very well, and I can really, because this is what I belong to. You're able to stand very well, bring in your consumables very well. You make a million. You make a million every month. You make a million every month.
All right. So thank you. I appreciate the responses. I totally appreciate them. So there are a lot of ifs in our conversations, right? There are a lot of ifs, and that's where real estate comes in. I mean, and I just keep falling in love with it. But first, as a developer, no, let me know. Developing is on the high side in terms of capital. So let me start from selling. As somebody who can sell real estate, if you are able to crack the code of selling real estate, I tell you for free, you can comfortably, emphasis on the word, comfortably go with 2 million naira every month as commission. Comfortably. And that is when it is bad. And I'm talking about something I have done from zero to this point in 3 years. And what are the things that I've put into this? Like I said, started from zero. And actually minus, because even the company I started, I couldn't pay off the entire money to register it. So that's like minus. And we're here. So there's a lot of money in the business in terms of potentials in terms of the potentials of selling. All you need is the skill, which of course we can't begin to talk about here. But the summary I need to make sure I communicate to us in that regard is that you can't sell real estate as though you are selling a pen, because people who buy real estate don't buy it as though they are buying pens. And then in terms of investment, the potentials are just so much as well. A typical example, I have clients who keyed into projects in the last 6 months, and most of their monies have doubled because of we're quite strategic with what we are doing in terms of the opportunities for our clients. So they always would double. The prices are good. The returns are good. We had a product 2 weeks ago before January ended that was for 4 million. We already knew strategically that this product was going to be 8 million in a few weeks. And a number of our clients keyed in, and automatically what that meant was that they made 4 million in 4 weeks. I mean, 4 million in less than 2 weeks. By simply keying, not doing anything, no fencing, nothing, literally nothing, passive income. That's what real estate can do for you. So if you're able to key in strategically as an investor, then you may just be doing your normal 9 to 5. We have a lot of clients who are just good at what they are doing, and then they saving money. So in fact, young ones are that. And if you're old, you can still leverage on opportunities and be able to scale your business. And that's one of the things that real estate brings to the table: leverage. You can be doing a business and use real estate as a leverage. You can be an employee somewhere or a business owner, self-employed, whoever you are, and be able to use real estate as a leverage. For example, typical example, right now, the inflation is not smiling at anybody. The inflation is not smiling at anybody. But, okay, so I think I'll just avoid this so that it doesn't look like I'm being braggadocious. But for my clients, let me use my clients. It's those who are just coming into or getting to meet me or showing interest in real estate that are not happy with the situation. As much as it's not something to be happy about, to be frank with you, most of my clients are happy because for all of them, everything happening in terms of inflation, real estate is edging it for them. Real estate is edging it. That's why real estate is said to be one of the most one of the ways to hedge funds, because as much as prices are increasing by the day, what it means for investors is that they are matching up. Real estate is doing its thing even though they are not spending extra, but they are matching up, their investments are matching up with inflation, and at some point beating the inflation in such a way that they are smiling to the bank. Products that were bought at 5 million are becoming 10 million. The ones that are bought at 30 million are becoming 60 million, and all of that. So for them, if they want to sell back right now, they sell back in less than 6 months with over 100% returns on investment in less than 1 year. There's no other sector that can give you that, especially in terms of being passive. All you need is to have the money. Once you have the money, then you put it in strategically. Emphasis on the word strategically. And once you're able to do that successfully, you are good. Now, once you can do that over time and then move to the point where you can now develop. In other words, you can buy, and some persons feel like, oh, you have to have large, big expanse of land somewhere before you can start developing. No, you can start developing with 1,000 square meters. 1,000 square meters is on the average of 100 by 100 feet in some places. So, but basically, more specifically, now around 28 square meters in some places. And with that, you can begin to build an apartment. Of course, that also depends on the location that you are in. In some locations, people may not be interested in what you are doing in terms of the apartments off plan. Off plan is having the land and then having clients pay you to build for them. Right, so you can have 6 units of terrace duplexes or 12 units of apartment. We have numerous opportunities like that here in Abuja. A 1,000 square meters land where you can build 12 units of houses, and you don't use your money to build those houses. You use clients' money. All you need is to be able to secure the land. But when the land is secured, you take clients' money. They pay you over a period of 6 months to 12 months, and then as they are sending the money, 30%, 20%, 20%, 15, as they are sending it that way, you are keeping out the profit for yourself and then using the rest. Or some persons would prefer to just use all of the initial deposits, finish the house, and then every other money that comes after is theirs as profit. So, of course, every part of this business has its own tricks that you have to understand. It's not something you just wake up and jump into, right? But then, again, just to summarize and then begin to round off so that I take a couple of questions. The lowest entry point is selling. And once you crack the code of selling, then trust me, you are good. You can comfortably, let me say this, there are brokers that make more money per annum than developers. Yes, there are brokers, people who sell, that make more money than developers per annum. That's because for the broker, he doesn't have except for the broker who wants to be like a. So for me, I want I've moved from just being a broker to we're arguably the biggest brokerage firm in Abuja, because what we're doing is to be able to accommodate more brokers, more real estate agents. Right now, we have a community of over 500 realtors and brokers within the Abuja space. Right, so we've moved away from just being an individual. I've moved away from just being an individual entity or just a personality that sells real estate to having an umbrella that will accommodate a lot of people to be able to do this thing. Right, but if I decide, or if I really wanted to just stay solo, that kind of thing, without having operational costs, my cost would basically just be doing the organic thing, do what I have to do to get the product out there in the market, and consistently I can make a lot of money. So some developers may not get all of the tricks, but ultimately they'll be fine. But either way, I'm saying that you are not lesser in the chain of categorization if you only want to play as a broker. You are not lower in that chain. In fact, it is the brokers that make the developers. Because as somebody who has worked a lot with these people, I know for a fact that most developers have no idea. For them, maybe it's about having the equity to be able to acquire the land. When they acquire the land, selling becomes a problem, because for most of them, they do not have the requisite skill to sell those products. Right? We hosted a major conference here in Abuja in January, and one of the top developer here in Abuja, categorically stated that the realtors are the people they are the lifeline. They are like the backbone of the business of developing. In fact, in more civilized societies, there are just three people in the chain of of real estate: the financial institutions, the marketers, and the developers. And the people that you actually truly know, the people that are loud, the people that are vocal, the people that you hear about in other societies like Europe, you don't know the developers. It is the brokers that you know, and you will think they own the project. They don't own the project. The developers focus on developing and constructing, while the marketers are the front, they are the brand projecting the product. So you see massive real estate companies and you think they are constructing it. They are not constructing nothing. They're basically brokers and marketers, right? So the idea is that it is the brokers and the realtors who hold the business, right? And then the financial sector, but that's in other societies. But within the Nigerian space, the reality is still the same. It is the brokers that make it rain. Without it raining from the angle of from the angle of the brokers and the realtors, then sales don't happen. And if doesn't happen, then there's no business. We all understand that marketing and sales is the backbone of every business. So those who make it rain are the people who. So in terms of categorization or hierarchy, there's no lower person in the chain. The investors and the developers, they're all important. So, but even as a broker, you move from just being a broker. The biggest mistake anybody can make as a broker is being a broker that doesn't invest, right? So with your investing, then you also open up yourself to be able to develop. And then so the opportunities are numerous. I would have loved to explore this further, but let me take a couple of questions. I have another engagement in about 10 minutes.
Wow. So please, okay, Mr. Yen, and go ahead and ask your question.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. Raymond.
Good evening, sir.
I think I'm one of the most favorite persons to be in this meeting because actually I'm in that line of business myself. And then actually what we do is we are into developing, and one of the biggest challenges we've had actually, and because we actually came into this industry based on our profession, me and my partner, because we are both engineers, and then we have passion for the industry. So we came into this industry. My question is passion enough? Is passion enough to go into real estate? That's my first question. And secondly, one of the challenges we face is how do you raise money? Because our biggest challenge has always been, going to financial institutions to tell them that okay, they have a good deal and a good location, and we're trying to raise money. One of the biggest challenges has always been trying to raise funds to develop. So these are my questions. Thank you.
All right. So anybody that follows me, because we have an academy arm of our business, we have Fortreal Academy, which is the academy arm that trains realtors. Anybody that has followed me, follow me for 1 month, you definitely know that I'll always say that passion is not enough. You can have a lot of passion. In fact, with a lot of passion, add a lot of energy and do real estate and do it the wrong way. And not just doing the wrong way, you will give up over time because your passion is not enough. You can have passion without knowledge, the requisite knowledge, the right knowledge to know how to go about this business. You will frustrate your passion by yourself because, like I mentioned, real estate is a special sector. It is a high ticket product, and people who buy it. So, in fact, what the realities of the country right now is such that you can count number of people. I don't know how true that statistics is. Somebody was saying, I don't know. I mean, it was trending at the point that somebody was saying if you have up to a million naira in your account or so, you are amongst the 1% in Nigeria. So if that is correct, assuming that is correct, what we are saying is that people who are going to buy these products from you are amongst the 1% in the country. So the question is, you need skill to be able to have access to them. You don't just they're not on the normal Nigerian street. Yes, they drive through the street, but then what I'm trying to say is that you need to have skill, the necessary skill that will help you attract them. And as someone who trains a lot of realtors and even developers, I make bold to say that if you have passion, you can have passion for real estate for 1 year. And if your passion is not directed towards acquiring knowledge for that business, then you might get frustrated along the line, because you can do this thing passionately for 6 months and not have food to chop. Like I said in the beginning, I was passionate about this thing, and Taxify was my option, plan B for getting money. But I realized that Taxify was now becoming a distraction from the plan B, which was real estate. And I had to tell myself, I stopped the Taxify. For 3 months, I stopped Taxify. And I told myself that I'm not doing this Taxify again. If hunger wants to kill me, it will kill me in this house. And I decided to focus, set my focus on real estate. Because, like I said, I'm a mental person. I spend 7 to 7, 7 to 9 at times driving off through, and you don't even have time. You are trying to meet target of driving, and you don't even have time to be able to think and do this real estate thing that you say you want to do. And it was a day that it was so bad that my fiancée at the time, who is now my wife, told me that I should just use this weekend to just gather small money to feed. And I told her I told her that no, I will not try it. If I don't make this money inside this real estate, I will die here. But that level of confidence only changed because I now came into the place of knowledge. That's why in my 7-figure masterclass, one of the paid courses that my realtors enrolled for, I said that if I was going to go back again to start real estate, I would start with 3 things. Number one, I had vision, which was good. I had clarity. I knew where I was going, but what I did not have was strategy. That is where the place of knowledge and skill comes in. So you can have passion, have energy without strategy and direction, then that becomes a problem. So yes, you can have passion, but you need to add knowledge to it, because knowledge and skill to it, because that is what will make the difference. And in terms of financing real estate, so I'm going to be straightforward with that. Nigerian financial sector doesn't welcome you when you want to use them to raise money to do real estate. They will only welcome you when you have acquired the real estate and you want to use it to take a loan. That's the only time they listen to you, the average Nigerian bank. And then there's also another point, or the only point they listen to you again is when you have become so big that you've become so big and become so much of a brand that anything you touch is sold. Then at that point they can offer you ₦1 billion. Outside that, forget it. No Nigerian bank is ready to accommodate you. And it is actually logical, if you ask me. As somebody who has done this thing, it is logical because if you are having issues raising money for real estate, then automatically, I'm saying this from experience, you will have issues selling the products, because you don't use money to sell real estate. The best you can do is to use money to buy the real estate. Who is now going to sell it for you? The banks already know that the moment you are asking for money from them, it means you don't have the requisite capacity to sell what you are asking money for. So automatically they know that the business will crash, or you will tie down the money in the assets, or you tie down the money, yes, in the land or in the project, and you can't raise money. Nobody. So that's why I already said that selling is a major problem for a lot of developers. So if you can I don't know how this comes to you, but the summary of my answer to that second question is that if you can't raise the money, it already creates a doubt in the capacity of the people who are in charge to sell the product. And the second addition to that is maybe you are in a hurry, actually. Forgive me, I'm naturally a blunt person, but I just like to be able to make my point so that somebody gets it. You are in a hurry, permit me to say so, because if you have done this thing enough, naturally you will be able to gather a lot of funds to fund the project, or at least start the project that you want to get into. So, for example, this is a public platform. I'll just be able to say something without going into too much details. Most of the funds that we're raising or we're getting as commissions right now is going into financing big projects. As somebody who, just so that you know, it may come as pride to somebody, but this is just a fact. I'm not in a hurry to get into developing. I'm not in a hurry to get into developing. I consult for developers and make developers who are 6 months, 1 year in the sector become successful, because I'm the one that makes the sale rain. So it's not for lack of courage or for lack of expertise, because I consult for these people and make the sale happen and put the structure the company and all of that. So it's not for lack of courage or lack of money that we're not developing. There's a vision towards that direction. But the point I'm trying to drive at is that you need to be able to grow in the business. If you ask me, if you don't have the funds, then your best strategy is to grow through in the business and get to the point where you can raise certain funds to at least get your initial deposit. If you have your initial deposit and the skill of selling is there, you have started real estate, you have started developing at its best. Let me say that again. Maybe you didn't hear me. If you have your initial deposit, if you can raise your initial deposit based on skill, if you can raise your initial deposit based on skill, and be able to get that product that makes sense, then trust me, the rest is done. I'll just leave it at that in terms of summary. So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Please, one more question before you go. I know you said you have another meeting. The person said, thanks for the insightful presentation. Please, do I need to go for any training and obtain certifications to go into real estate business?
So as I speak to you right now, I don't have any certification in the real estate sector.
Okay, that answers it.
I don't have. So all you need is not all you need. The most important things that you need it's the training, the knowledge. Once you are able to acquire the skill, the training, your clients will trust you. It's unlike our foreign sites where they'll ask for certification from regulatory bodies before you can get into the business. Here, it is highly unregulated. It's an advantage as well as a disadvantage. It's an advantage because, can you still hear me?
Yes, sir, we can.
Yeah, we can
Yes.
hear
It's
you.
it's an advantage because anybody can wake up today and decide that I want to go into real estate. It's a disadvantage because any Tom, Dick, and Peter can just get into the business and do anyhow and then mess up the entire sector. So the only thing that stands you out in the business because of the low barrier entry, the only thing that stands you out is your knowledge and your brand. What you know is what stands you out. So irrespective of the fact that you don't need certification, you can go ahead and certify yourself and do well to stand out. Because if you don't stand out in the crowd, forget it. They will just count you as one of those agents. And once you are counted amongst those agents, then that's it. You're placed in a bottle. So,
So
Thank
can
you
I ask a
very much.
question, please? Mr. Raymond, can I
Can
ask
you
one
see?
question? Can I ask one
I
question, please?
Yes, another meeting to
Yeah,
attend. Sorry.
just one
I'm
question.
sorry.
Just one question. Just one question is a very brief one. You
All right,
you constantly
30 seconds.
you you constantly said if you can crack the code for selling, and I am wondering what is that code for selling, which is the key thing that we want. What is? I'm also in real estate. But I appreciate your time and I appreciate the way you've elaborated some of these points. But some of those codes, you made that point over and over again. How do you crack the code for selling?
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
in answering your question, um, kudos to the organizers of this conversation. Uh, so this is maximum of a 1 hour conversation. I have a paid course, and that paid course is average of 25 minutes per lecture. Average of 25 minutes per lecture, and it has the first part of the course has over about 30 lessons, and the other one has about 15 or so. So that's 30 plus 15, average of about, let's say, 40 parts. So 40 parts times 25 minutes. That will be how long?
That's 100 and 125 or so. Sorry.
So that would be in terms of hours. That would be
1,000 hours. 40 times 25, 1,000 hours.
okay. So that's how I'm going to answer your question. So for you to crack the code of
1,000.
real estate, I can't give you that answer. I can't teach you how to crack the code of selling real estate in even in a 5 minute answer or even in a 1 hour class, right? So that's why there's a course. And like the math I just gave you right now, it means that a course you spending you yourself will be some persons don't even finish the course in 1 month. That's how serious it is, right? So we're looking at on the average of over
16
12
hours.
hours course. Okay, so
16
by
hours.
Hamas, about 16 hours of learning time for you to be able to crack the code of selling. So I can't teach you how to sell real estate.
But sir,
in this
in that
country.
case, please, how do they join your masterclass or your get access to this information? Can you please tell us maybe your number?
And how much? Yes, and how much is it? You know, I mean, you put these things in a way that people who are interested can also appreciate it and key in. You understand what I mean?
Okay,
Yes,
so
because he's going
cost,
to answer you so that
yes,
he's time conscious, please. So let him answer how we can get in touch with him.
okay, so I'll give you
Okay.
the number of my head of training. Her number is 080
080
65
65.
81
We no longer can hear you. 0065
81
81
45
45
37.
37.
Her name is
080
Ophion. Just reach out to her and you get all of the information you need as it relates to the course. Tell her
You
it's
say her name is what? Her name
Ophion.
is what? Ophion.
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 Okay.
So just reach out to her, tell her you are from Tommy, that you attended a class from online on Monday, and she'll just take it up from there. You get all the details that you need as relates to the course. You also get to see the curriculum yourself, so that it gives you an idea of whether the code was really cracked or not. And you can also hear from people who have also undergone the course. Right. So I think that's the best I can do at this point. I really appreciate your time. Thank you for inviting me. I wish I can connect. You can connect with me on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. My name is Raymond Ijeomah. So you can connect with me on these platforms. And if you think we have to do business or anything, then reach out to me through that same platform, Raymond Ijeomah. And we'll take it up from there. Thank you again, Tommy. I totally appreciate having
Thank
me
you
here.
so much, sir. Please, I'll kindly unmute your mic and let's say a big thank you to our speaker. Let's appreciate him. I know you've all got value, and please unmute your mic and let's appreciate him.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All
You're
right.
welcome. We really
Thank you,
All right.
you. We appreciate
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
All right, man. Bye.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you so much. Our speaker already has another engagement and he couldn't use the usual 1 hour, 30 minutes or 2 hours with us. But I'm sure with that even period of time, you got a lot of value. If you got value, please just give thumbs up. I believe you got value. So I got value. I hope you did. Yes, okay. I thank you for the thumbs up. Yes. So and if you did not get the number right, just reach out to me on WhatsApp. I'll send you the number. I'll even send you the link through which you can get access to him. So after I'm able to have access to him, so you can reach out to me as regards that. So Mr. Kalu, you want to ask a question? Please go ahead. Okay, Mr. Olagunju, go ahead and ask a question.
Well, I'm not asking a question. I just want to quickly chip in some tips for members here. That I do real estate too.
Okay.
Yeah. So